Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that could be an unpopular topic for a lot of people, and that's the idea that most periodization and complex programming is really just psychological in nature, meaning it can be used for certain psychological motivation. It can be used for programming of your athletes, as far as mental programming goes. But as far as physical benefits, it really doesn't have any. And man, what a statement that is. Because keep in mind how many people out there are making their whole business about selling complex periodized programs. And let's be honest here. Even for strength purposes, I don't think periodization really brings anything magical to the table. There's a lot of arguments against linear periodization that could be made. But even when it comes over to concurrent stuff, that is oftentimes done for psychological purposes. And I've done lots of conjugate programming for a lot of my clients. Okay? But as a coach, I do understand there's not necessarily physical benefits to all these rotating max effort lifts and things. It is programming for their brain. That is why we do it. It also means that selling templates that are cookie cutter to where the coach isn't kind of looking at what's going on with their lifter's mindset is a problem, because I do things a little differently even with that stuff based on their personalities. But if a person isn't concerned with certain things going on with their lifting, if their goals are largely just body composition, we don't need any sort of complexity. And I want to be very clear there. Okay, I'm not as worried about overuse if we keep volumes reasonable. Okay, if volume is kept pretty moderate, I'm not worried about exercise rotation so much, because I'm not going to get overuse. We're not maxing out, so again, I'm not worried about rotating conjugate lifts. I'm not worried about having them obsess over hitting PRs all the time on their big lifts. So I don't need to rotate those movements to the same degree. Do we really need to do a lot of rep range rotation? No. Are we doing sufficient work with sufficient tension with the right exercises to build muscle? The answer is yes. Then what's the issue? As far as overuse and injuries go, keep the programming moderate. Make them use good form. Pick exercises that don't fatigue tendons as much. Okay, there are certain movements that are going to create problems there, sure. Preacher curls can put a lot of fatigue on that tendon on the bicep. Skull crushers can put a lot of fatigue on the tricep tendon. Okay, great. So we know that, so let's use these exercises sparingly. Oh man. We don't need a lot of complex programming for most people. Again, and I want to be clear here. So programming is generally done for psychological purposes, to mentally help lifters get through plateaus, to mentally prepare them for PRs. It doesn't do anything as far as the actual strength building. It doesn't do anything as far as building the muscle. All right, again, I want to be clear. I mean, I could put someone on almost the same programming as long as I'm managing the fatigue of their volume. Right? That's where most of the real coaching comes in, managing fatigue. That's it. I can take a lifter and I can put them on one basic program and I could keep them there with just minor progressive overloading over the course of a year and just adjust their volume based on fatigue management. Are they recovering enough to handle a little more volume? Okay, I can add a little more to speed up gains just a little bit. Right? Are they having some factors going on in their life that could interfere with recovery? We need a little better fatigue management. I can scale their volume back a little bit. Okay? From a physical perspective, that's all that matters. Almost everything else is psychological in nature. It's to affect their motivation. It's to affect the way that they approach lifting. It's to affect the way that they approach their PRs. It's psychological. And if that's the case and it's psychological, then people who are selling complex programs not coaching it, not dealing with the individual lifter. They're selling you templates. It's a con. And this is oftentimes complex for the sake as a selling point. To sell people training templates. Okay? And we need to be clear there. We need to be clear there. And those really shouldn't be complex. There's no need, because any of the complexity there is done for the individual mindset. Okay? So that's not a template you should be selling. And I mean, I get it. This is people's hustle. It's people's hustle. But we need to understand that. For a lot of you coaches out there, you need to understand that the things you are doing to help your lifters break plateaus are psychological. And a lot of newer coaches and a lot of newer trainers don't realize that because they haven't been in the game long enough. They might legitimately think, oh man, if I have them take their squat or their bench press, and we do a 5x5, then we take it to 5 sets of 3 so that I can increase weight. Then I take them to 3 sets of 3. Then they're going to hit a PR, right? I can run these in some waves, have them do it for a 3-week block each time. And they'll be strong enough to PR again. In fact, even if I take them back to the 5x5, they're stronger. No, all you did was get them focused on the progression. Like, oh man, they know they're adding more weight to the bar, so therefore they're getting stronger because you're reducing volumes and reps. Okay? That didn't cause any magical effect in the body. That's just psychological. You gave them more time to gain muscle. Because hopefully, in addition to that work you're doing, you might be doing a little bit of other hypertrophy stuff. Okay? All you did was give them more time to build muscle. Well, you build muscle, you're going to hit PRs. It's pretty straightforward. And again, I'm saying this as someone with decades of experience at this. I'm saying this as a coach who's done all of these things and used these methods. Most of it is just about building muscle. Most of that is just about time. Most of that is just fatigue management. Stimulus, recovery, right? The stress recovery adaptation cycle. We gain muscle, we get stronger. Okay? It's all just about controlling stimulus and fatigue over time. That's it. And at its core, it's very simple. But a lot of the complexity is marketing. It's oftentimes used to show how smart a coach is. It's not necessarily doing anything. It's smoke and mirrors. 9 times out of 10. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.